Good evening, all. Welcome to the Nip and a Half Fantasy Football Podcast. Paul, how are you?
Yeah, I'm all good. Thanks, Fergi. I've got a nice tale of woe for you tonight, though.
A
So
tale of woe for
you, I
who? For
think
you?
against me. So for
Oh,
once, you can be on the laughing end of my. I don't even know if I'd say misfortune, but we'll play it out
is it
anyway.
is it misfortune or is it a
No,
bit
no,
of
I would, yeah, I would
stupidity?
agree.
It's more not. It's more misfortune, is it?
I would say no. I would say the latter. I
Oh,
would
really?
say,
I love it when you do those things because you're such
yeah,
a cool customer. But everyone makes mistakes, don't they? Everyone makes one or two
indeed.
mistakes this season. So yeah, I'm interested. Do
And
you
I
want
think
to?
I definitely I think I put it into that band rather than another.
Do you want
So
to? Should we start off there so I can have a laugh?
okay, okay. So FPL.
Oh,
My transfer this week
laughing
involved
already.
one transfer, unforced. Didn't need the money or anything. Took out Solanke. So,
Oh, okay. Okay.
and just
It's not
like looking
too.
at it now and then looking at my team for this upcoming week, I was like, I wish I had Solanke and these points. So,
Oh my God, Paul! How have you
it's
done it?
that
How have you done it? How have you
it's that thing,
managed?
when like I'm sure you've been in this position before as well, where you overthink things based on the stats that are in front of you. I've obviously got into that. I've obviously got into that position.
I took him out
Um,
as
I,
well.
you took him out. You'd have taken him out to bring in Salah and Captain Salah, though, right?
I did. There's a backstory to that, but I'll touch on that now. So you just took him
But
out anyway,
I feel that
Captain
that's more. I
Haaland.
feel that that's more acceptable in your
Okay,
position, whereas I wasn't bound to anything.
right.
I,
Feel better now.
I, I took him out, and now I'm sitting looking at my team for this week, and I was like, definitely got a Solanke shaped hole in
Who
it.
did you put in? Was it
I
Cunha?
brought in Jimenez. No, I brought in
Oh,
Jimenez.
okay,
So I
okay.
do have tonight's
Yeah,
game.
yeah.
I've like, do you know what's the most frustrating thing about this is because I've been doing so poorly in FPL, I've not really cared about it that much. And if I had kept them, I would have like an amazing
Yeah.
week. Like because I'm above average. I've got a green arrow. I've got three players to play tonight. So I kept in Johnson and Rogers. So
Nice,
I got both points there. I've
nice.
got Chris Wood. So I got points there. I got one extra point from switching my captaincy from Haaland to Palmer. So I'll take that extra point, little wins. And then I just blew like 16
Those
pointer.
were not the. Yeah, you sent me a couple of scenarios, didn't you, at the end of last week? What do you think about this? Just taking out Solanke for no reason was not one of the scenarios that you sent me over. Brilliant.
And I was sitting smug after 50 minutes yesterday
Yeah, I
watching the
bet. I
game as
bet.
well. Oh
I've
yeah, he still had no chances. But yeah.
I took him out, but mine has got just a touch of a backstory on it. It's crazy when you think back through little things, right? So I wanted to do Foden to Salah, but keep Solanke, right? But I made
Yeah.
a move 2 weeks. Was it last week or the week before? Remember when? It must have been last week actually. I had I had 3 free transfers or two, and I had a back three of Lewis, Trent, and Gabriel. Now Lewis is always up, as we found out this weekend. You're never quite sure if he's going to start. But the players I had on my bench, defenders, were Saliba, who was banned, and Greaves, who has just managed to get himself injured. Now, if Greaves had have been fit, I wouldn't have made this transfer, right? But I was so nervous about a Lewis benching that I did Saliba to 8 Norrie a week early. And the reason I did Saliba to 8 Norrie a week early is because Saliba was banned. Now, he was 6.1 million or 6 million when I sold him. Now, going into this week, if I'd have kept it, I could have done Gabriel to 8 Norrie and Foden to Salah and kept Solanke. But as it was, because I needed the extra money because of that boo-boo last week, I had to do Solanke down to, well, I've got in Jimenez as well, who's obviously playing this evening. But I got Salah in, which I'm really, really happy with because
Yeah.
missed his points over the few weeks, and Palmer blanked. He's the only one I haven't got now, so I was quite happy with that as well because I managed to keep on to Haaland. But yeah, so how many points you get in FPL then? You can't have had that good a week if you didn't have
No,
Salah.
that no, not particularly. 37 points, and I've got three players to play.
37 with 3 to play. Is that Flecken, is it, as well?
Fleck,
Yeah,
and Devo and
I don't know. I
Jimenez.
don't know why I played Fabianski this week. I think I was just trying to be clever. Just because. Well, I do think Fulham score score this evening. In all fairness, but I've got 51 with Mbuemo and Jimenez to play. Semenyo on my bench.
Yeah, same.
Did bench Lewis.
I benched Lewis as well, thinking I was.
I
like
benched
an
Lewis.
absolute
Yeah, same.
And I'm not. Yeah, and I'm not part of any cartel. It was Lewis versus Trent versus Aitonori versus Gabriel.
I'm exactly the same, and I benched him because of that as well. I did fancy Bournemouth to score though. I don't think Lewis is actually a great pick, but like, because when you're never sure he's going to play, he hasn't got anywhere near as much goal threat as Gvardiol either, and Man City generally are just not great in defence either, are they? So
6 goals in his last 8 away games. Gvardiol.
Really?
In Premier League, last 8
That is
appearances,
ridiculous.
8 away appearances, got 6 goals.
Oh, I'm going to use that on Green Arrow on Thursday, mate, if you don't mind. That is that's absolutely class. Yeah, rank up to about 2.4 million. Hoping for a Jimenez goal tonight. That should bump me up because he's quite low owned. What is he? He's 11%. So maybe a Jimenez goal may just chuck me up into the top 2 million, which would be nice.
We must be very close. I'm 2.4 million as well.
2,402,954. We must be very close then.
What's your season points? Like 558 or something? Like
557.
I'm 556.
Oh.
With one extra
one
player.
Extra player. Yeah, but Flecken's going to get a red tonight. So
yeah, but I was about to say I don't have Solanke this week. Neither do you though. So.
Or for next week when they're home to Ipswich. Just before we move on, evening all. Cloud Sky Fantasy Football. Ian says, evening gents. Having got to grips with price changes and fixture count in Dream Team, other than picking the right players each week, what is the next step to become a better manager in this format? Maybe we'll touch on Dream Team next. I've got a tip or two there maybe. Dave Hannigan is in, says, evening early for once. Windy is in. Says, I'll be with you in a tick, just making a brew. Hope it tastes good, Windy. Bobby Shearer is in. Mark Williamson. Dave Hannigan says, little milk, no sugar for me, Windy. Jason Manners. JC, who is top of the shop, I believe, in the Ultimate Leaderboard. Absolutely flying. Mike Blackburn is in. Asks about questions. Any preferences on Smith Rowe against João Gomez in TFF? Just a quick one there. Paul? João Gomez or Smith Rowe?
I'd go Gomez.
I'd go Gomez as well. Viney says, I took Solanke and Johnson out of Dream Team and benched Semenyo in FPL. Join the club, Viney. But Johnny Curry, which is probably the reason why he is top, has got Solanke in all formats. Windy, it's up to 2
single figure ranks in
all 3 games. Windy up to 2.8k in TFF with 37 transfers left. So wait till you hear my transfer count, mate. I'm an absolute nightmare. Manchester says, hi lads, great to have you with us. Dream Team week. I think we've both had a pretty decent week by the look of it. I think we both brought in Bruno Fernandes, didn't we? Yeah. For a nice 14 point yesterday and another game to go. I got 75 this week. Very, very happy with that. Gvardiol's 10. Bruno brought him in for the 14. I followed your lead a bit and brought in Mateus Nunes for the price rise for Rodgers, but I'm not too disheartened with that. I have got a plan for next week.
You got 0.1. You only got 0.1 rise.
I saw the rise. Yeah. Johnson 9, Foden 6, Salah cap 22. Pretty hopeful of quite a few players this week in Europe. Johnson and Porro, the Spurs players, maybe not, but hoping that some or most of the others play. The other, what's that? 9 maybe 7 or 8 starters there. Hopefully in Europe, we'll see. Plans for this week, just so I don't copy you. I've got loose plans to move.
I've got my transfers bust, and I'm happy to tell you them right after.
Well, I'll tell you. I'll do mine first. Mine are not bust, but I thought about them this morning because I know I come on here sometimes and I haven't even looked, but I was determined to come on and have a bit of a think. So I think I'm going to take Nunes straight out because the fact that the Man City boys are on the bench as well, Savinho, Doku, I'm going to take him out. And I think I'm going to take out Brennan Johnson, which may sound madness against Ipswich, but hear me out. It's because I don't want to take anyone else out. Oh, do you know what? Actually, no, I could. Oh no, I don't want to take out. I don't want to take out Porro ahead of home to Ipswich. Otherwise,
you lost a point overnight.
Swine. So I'm thinking of doing Nunes and Johnson, maybe not. I'm not 100% sure on that yet, but Nunes and another Johnson or Porro or something like that player, or Dallo, which could end up in a short-term 4-3-3, but I'm fine with that. But the reason I want to do that is I want to take out Porro next week after the Ipswich match. And my second move is either Johnson or someone else to...
I
haven't finished.
There you go.
To Solanke for a 1 week punt against Ipswich because he's going to get a massive rise and he's on fire. So I'd be 4-3-3 then, but that means the week after, right, I can take out both Porro and Solanke and I would have 5 City players, 3 United players, Salah, and then 2 players of my choice almost up to combined about 8.5 million. So that's my loosest plan at present. Go on.
I bet you I tell you my transfers and you change your transfer plans.
Don't do it.
I bet this happens. I bet I tell you my transfer plans and you change them.
Put a lot of thought into this.
But it'll be a similar thought process to what you're doing. So I'm doing Nunes to Solanke as well. I think it makes more sense. I had been eyeing up Son, but just based on all the different factors that you mentioned there, the price rise in particular, being the fundamental one. What I bust just now is Digne to Matsuri from Man United. 3.5 million. So he's
okay.
0.7 less than 0.7 less than Dallo.
Okay.
He got a 10-pointer yesterday. Have a look at his history. He gets bonus every game.
And he's 3.5, is he?
And he's 3.5. And he got 10 points yesterday. So, well, based on, we don't know what's going to happen midweek, but the likelihood is that he'll get the 0.3, I think, and Dallo won't.
Does he play every game the same as Dallo? Because they play everything, don't they? So okay, yeah. Maybe I will change. It was a similar thought, obviously, but it was. But I'll then do Porro and Solanke out after the break, after the Ipswich match. Then, and I'm, I think for the first time this season, I'm pretty happy. I think we're on the front foot with Bruno. What is Bruno's ownership? I have no idea actually. Be that high. I can see it.
I'll tell you his top.
I can't even see his ownership for some reason on his
top 1K ownership is 43%.
Oh wow, that's high. What about lower than that, or didn't it say? Okay, it's still not. Everyone will be bringing in this week is my point. So kind of a transfer ahead on that, and I haven't seen many teams in my mini league that have got both Garnacho and Bruno either, so I think that is a good head start there as well. So, happy with my team. I think really good transfer value. Let me have a look. I say that now. Yours probably better than mine, knowing you. 58, no, 59, no. Oh my god, I can't add up. 58.8, I think.
Oh really? That's higher than what I thought. I've got 59.1. But
you cheeky sod.
But I thought
you cheeky.
Because you know that every single week I play transfers to try and maximise the.
I mainly do as well, pal. I have played this game before. Mind?
You want it?
Oh, that's higher than I thought. It's still lower than mine, but it's still higher than I thought. Yeah, and you're flying, aren't you? I've just bust into the top 1K. What are you, like 200, 150?
200. I think we've got the same team bar 3 players. So who have you got in goals?
Martinez.
Yeah, I've got Onana in goals. I've got Digne instead of Porro, and then I've got Mbeumo instead of Johnson.
Yeah.
So I've obviously got Mbeumo to play tonight, but then he only plays once this week, so I think we've got 11 players each still to play this game week. I just mentioned my transfers there. And similar view to you, then I'll have Solanke and Mbeumo would be the 2 players that I'd be looking to move on the following week. But if an injury occurs, then Solanke does potentially play twice that week, so you can hold them there. So no issues from that front. I do I keep on saying this, but I think there's going to be a time very soon where the value of our teams is going to be super important, and that's going to be when the European games finish up for Christmas. And you want Palmer. Obviously, the 2 of us don't have Saka now.
Oh, exactly that.
We're going to want Saka back. Yeah, it was interesting with Saka. It was a weird setup where Saka's increase and decrease in points over the weekend because he jumped from like 3 ppm with like 5 minutes to go to 9,
Yeah,
and he didn't do much in that time. And he was up at like a 92%
yeah,
pass rate, and then they to not qualify for the tier below, you have to be below 80%.
yeah.
So
It's
it was
crazy.
obviously a complete fuck up somewhere.
Mm.
But yeah, and Foden dropped the point, which I wasn't too concerned about. And say I think Toro lost a tackle
Okay.
because he had got the point from there. But yeah, pretty happy with how things are going. I've only scored 70 this week, but I was very
You
happy
got
with
Mbuemo as well.
yeah, yeah, I was very happy with a level pegging week.
That's a good score this week, though. You still got a green arrow, I'm guessing.
Uh, I think I'm down a handful of
Oh,
places, but
okay.
not
Okay.
not
Well, you'll have
on a week where there
Mbuemo,
was a
won't
lot
you?
of
So,
could be swings with
yeah,
no
yeah.
Saka and such
That's
like.
it.
Pretty happy with how things are going.
Just to address Ian's point on what is the next step to becoming a better manager in this format. I think this is probably one of the few formats, Paul, where I tend to play a bit more of a longer term game. I think almost every transfer I make, unless it's very obvious, like this week with the single against Ipswich for Spurs, but bear in mind most weeks, sort of, what is it? I don't know, 60 or 70% of match weeks in Dream Team is a playable double for certain teams. I just think it's looking to hop on some low owned players that have got a really good run of fixtures ahead of them and getting on them early. And I think I'd probably use Garnacho and Bruno, maybe even not individually, but as a combination over this last week or two. Those two have helped me absolutely fly up the ranks, as they have with you as well, haven't they? And even with Foden, and obviously keeping the bankers like Haaland, Salah, you can afford to don't often take many risks, like going without Palmer and Saka and things, but when they're injured and things, like Gvardiol's he's a banker in this game as well. So, and then you can afford them with those other sorts of players, I think, to go for the rises. Just it's not only rise. Obviously, Nunes this week was a really good example of someone who's going to get a decent rise, but not only that, he's very likely going to play twice. His underlying stats were very good. I think his average points were over 7. I know he scored 4 yesterday, but he plays again midweek. It hasn't really worked out. Move him on next week. It's absolutely fine. So I just think I know that's it's probably incredibly vague, but leaving the hardcore, but maybe look ahead to, you've said now, Mazrui or Dallo, kind of all of a sudden will be on 3 United players where lots are only maybe on 1, just or none, looking to move on to 1 or 2 now, and moving ahead. And the year I won it, that's what I did on Man City. I just made the decision. I looked at their run in advance, and they weren't playing very well, which is why they were quite lowly owned. I thought from that point, I'm going all in on Man City because they will get better. And on players like Gundogan and all these players really, really early, John Stones, when no one was on them. So it is a bit of a gamble, but as long as you've got your kind of core in place and like an enabler or two, you can afford to do that. So that may seem incredibly obvious and vague, but that's the way I kind of look at it and play it.
So I adopt a similar tactic to something I play in other formats, but a slight variation on Dream Team. So in Telegraph and FPL, and I used to do it on Sky, is think of what my wildcard team would look like and then fit the players in. I think it's much harder to do that on Dream Team based on the volatile price movements. So
Yeah,
I
it is
don't
definitely.
do that. But what I write out in 3 weeks ahead is who I think the top 3 teams are, because there's a lot of doubles,
That's
so
right.
you have to factor in the European games as well. And then say Arsenal came out on top in a position like that, then I knew that I would want Saka
Yeah,
in
right.
that specific week, and it's making sure that I've got the best players from the best teams for the weeks of which they've got the best fixtures. And Man United came up like when we just talked about Bruno and Garnacho, so it wasn't just a 1 week punt.
Oh no,
It
definitely.
was 3 or 4 weeks where they're in the top 3 for fixtures. We know that they don't rotate in Europe. We
Yeah,
know that
that's it.
they play full strength teams. Um, And there's been a few instances like that as well. On the flip side, I didn't see Arsenal as having great fixtures this current week and next week in the single. So I knew that if I brought Saka in this week, I, I probably wouldn't take him out to make a punt on a 1 week move to then just to move back because you're banking two transfers that way. So that was part of my rationale, not like for not getting Saka in, and even though he's got high ownership, how much can it hurt you in a position where people won't be captaining him anyway? And the player that you bring in is going to have two great fixtures and the price rise anyway. So yeah, very similar in thoughts this week. But before we move on, it seems like a great 1 week, vastly open captain options.
Good shout. Oh wow, yeah, it is, isn't it?
So I think you could make arguments for Salah, Haaland, Solanke. I've got Mbuemo, Fernandez. I think you can make arguments for all five of those.
I think Bruno.
Well, I've
Man,
got Bruno as my bus captain
Ma-
just now.
Manchester just put in the chat. Bruno is my dream team captain this week. I don't know if he means this week is in the current week or next week, but yeah, looking at the form and the points potential. You know, all Bruno got. I say all. You know, he got a penalty yesterday. It's 14 points. His underlying numbers are really, really strong, averaging 6.2 points. But over the last few games, you look what he's averaging over the last three. 12.3 points average over the last three, and that's only a 14-pointer. So the others, he's had another couple of tens in it. He's a man in form, isn't he? And he's just a kind of player, as we know historically from Dream Team, same as players like Saka and Salah. When they're on form, they can absolutely smash it, can't they? So yeah,
Be a good max captain week if there was 2 games, but I wouldn't use max captain on a single game week.
Yeah, I agree. So just to summarise, I suppose, just looking forward now at the teams. Man City away to Brighton on the weekend, which is probably not a great fixture. And they then come up against quite a few tough defences, actually. Spurs at home are not a tough defence. Feyenoord, Liverpool away, Forest at home is not easy either. They go to Juventus the week after as well. So I would probably say City are probably hold what you got, but I wouldn't be probably investing much more in them. Arsenal look okay. I'll definitely be looking to get Saka back after the break. They're away to Chelsea on the weekend, so no rush to get Saka back this week, I don't think. Home to Forest, away to Sporting. They got West Ham United, Fulham, and they go into an okay run. Liverpool's is pretty decent as well. They got a fair few decent home games, but United's run, which is what we've been talking about, home to Leicester on, so they're home to Panathinaikos this week. They're home to Leicester. They then got Ipswich away, and then a home Champions League, a home Europa match. Then they're home to Everton, home to Forest the week after. This is this run we talk about for Man United. It's looking at sort of 3 to 4 weeks ahead, and it's absolutely crazy. Villa's run is okay. Actually, it's not bad. Actually, after the break, Watkins maybe an option. I'm just finding Spurs at it's a bit tough to stomach at the moment because the fixtures are not that great and they're very sporadic in Europe, aren't they? And obviously with Chelsea, they're playing a different team in Europe as they are. So yeah, I think United are just the team at the moment to get on with the new manager bounce, and wherever else hold your City, bring Saka back, probably get Palmer back on that game week 13, is it? When they have the double game week, and then they have Spurs as well away on that game. So yeah, just thoughts there. Steve Rick says, is Strand Larson a punt this week? Ooh, Wolves got home to Southampton this week.
Let's talk about the next format because I've written the baseline for my TFF article for the Hub this week, and Strand Larson's on the 3 picks from the Hub. So nice. 2.8 million in Dream Team. I think as a 1 week punt, if you're really constrained by cash in this option, and knowing that then you've got flexibility to move on the following week. I think. Well, I think he's 3.5, whereas
Yeah.
Cunha, who I think is a good shout in this game this week as well, but he's 4 point something, I think.
I couldn't look past the United or Spurs player this week with the home fixture. They got Leicester and Ipswich.
It was more if you're like right tight on the money. I think Strand
Yeah,
Larson
that's
is
fair enough.
3.5, which is cheaper than I think everyone apart from maybe Kulusevski who's the option.
Yeah, cool. So TFF, how's your week gone in that?
Do you know, like I'm really happy with everything. It's like my team now in TFF, I think looks in a good position. I've scored well this week, got 49 points. And yeah, I'm pretty happy with the structure of it. So I made two moves. I took out Raya and brought in Sells, who got an immediate clean sheet, and then I took out Eze and brought in Palmer, which he only scored 2 points, but knowing that Eze's out to the international break anyway, I wasn't like.
And it covered Palmer's 69% ownership. That is absolutely ridiculous, isn't it? Like crazy. Every time he scores, you just plummet.
So the only person of any note that I'm strongly interested in, I know there's a lot of budget enablers, particularly in the striker options, but the only one I'm missing now, I feel that caused me severe damage is Salah now, and just based on his price, I'm happy to go without. So my team reads Sells, Gabriel, Gvardiol, Lewis, Gomez, who got a nice goal at the weekend, and he's just looking like the João Palhinha of this season, if you like, in this format. Saka, Smith Rowe tonight, Palmer, Haaland, and Buemo tonight, and I kept Solanke in this format. So
yeah, I'm not too far behind you. Well, I am in terms of rank and team, I suppose.
and points.
And points. I have halved my rank over the last 3 weeks. So I scored 47 this week. But I think I am going to make a transfer tonight. I'm going to do Raya to Leno. And the reason for that, Fulham have got a really good long-term run, but it does allow me to do Solanke to Salah in 2 or 3 weeks. It's when after Spurs next 3. I think they got 3 games. No, 2 games. Ipswich and Man City. Yeah. And I can go from Solanke over to Salah then because, I just want to get that in place. So my team then will read Leno, Murillo, Gabriel, Aït-Nouri. I've still got Munoz, but actually he's got his last 2 games got me 6 and a 3, which is not too bad. So I still am on a back 4, but I'll just wait for an opportunity there. Gomez, Saka, Palmer, Haaland, and Buemo, and Salah. I'll have then. So I'll have the big 4.
Not fancy.
One.
I'm not an advocate for smashing through loads of transfers, like a similar concept to you, but do you really not fancy Munoz to Smith Rowe tonight as well?
No, I don't think there's enough there with Smith Rowe, to be honest. Personally, he might, he'll probably do all right, but no, I'm okay with Munoz at the moment. So I'm just gonna wait for an opportunity. But I did Ben White. What a nightmare pick he's been. Really the highest, most expensive defender in the game.
All 3 years in the pod had him at the start of the season, right?
Honestly, he's just been a nightmare. And so I did him to Aït-Nouri, which obviously blanked on the weekend, but I am happy owning Aït-Nouri moving forward. And that change, as well as the Raya to Leno change, allows me to go Solanke up to Salah in a few weeks, which I like. I know Solanke got the 15 points, brilliant. I'll get the Ipswich game out of him as well. Hope for another return or 2 there. Get the Man City match as well, but then after that, I want Salah. I just think Salah looks different class this season. He really does look so good. And I know it's probably not optimal having Saka, Palmer, Haaland, and Salah. But I'm moving towards a model. I think I mentioned it last week. I'm trying to move towards a model of having just the 1 or 2 real enablers, getting in the big guns, and just kind of sitting there then. But I am down to, what am I now, 32 transfers, which is not good. Not happy with that. And once I do these other 2 moves, I'll be down to 30. So Raya to Leno, Solanke. But it will be pushing towards the end of November then. So it's not too bad. But just had a tough year with this so far. Just hasn't really gone my way. But
Must be happy with the. I think we talked about it a couple of weeks ago before we went on the Monday night game when Forest played the Murillo move. Like,
yeah,
must be
exactly
like one of
that.
the best value players in the game just now.
Yeah, he's had 2 clean sheets out of the 3, I think. And I did say if I could have got to Wood, I would have as well. And I think he scored in all 3, haven't he? He's just been insane.
Yeah.
So yeah, but their run does turn in a couple of weeks. They got West Ham at home this weekend. Sorry, they got Newcastle this weekend, and then it does turn. Then they go Arsenal away, Ipswich at home, and then they're going a bit of a horrible run there. So, but for 2.3 million, it's just mad. Viney said, "I've had those 4 big guns all season, 1.2k with 34 transfers left." Tough season. Manchester's thinking of Watkins to Mbemo tonight to free up 1.8 million. Not a bad shout. Viney says he's going Haaland to Vissa tonight. That's an interesting one. But yeah, lots of interesting stuff there. So yeah, what does that mean, mate, for the ultimate leaderboard?
Well, I don't take this as me being patronising like you did earlier on tonight, because you had said that you wanted to climb some rank and get up to about 30th place from week on week, and you're up at 32nd now. So
no, I'm happy with that. I'm happy with that from where I was.
I know. Well, I just wanted to make sure because I felt you were a bit touchy tonight. So
I'm a bit touchy with you being ahead of me and then saying you were surprised how close I was to you.
I was. Do you know what? Like, in any format, I obviously want you to do well in that because we're in a tag team in the Dream Team Tonic Cash, the Dream Team Tonic Tag Cash League. So,
how are we doing
I'm
in
up
that
to,
anyway? Where are we doing that? Oh,
we're second.
we're second in
We're
that.
second.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah. I'm 14th, so just running down the top 10. Simon Davis in 10th, Connor Tobin in 9th, Carl Bennett in 8th, Dan Cox in 7th. I spoke to Dan. Dan wants to come on for an episode. I told him that he doesn't need to prep, so it suits him down to a T.
Oh, fantastic!
So
He's flying as well, isn't he? So yeah, brilliant.
yeah,
Okay,
so we'll get him along,
we'll do
and
that.
he can moan about Haaland and FPL and other things.
Yeah.
Carl Weeks is in 6th.
Flying
Carl
Carl.
must have had a couple of good weeks actually, because I don't think we had mentioned.
I didn't think Carl would be that high.
No, I just can't
McNulty.
remember. I can't recall mentioning him. You went Garnacho and
In Dream Team, that's a hell of a rogue shout, isn't it?
Tom Gledel in 5th, Darren Malloy in 4th, Ben Lee in 3rd, Alec Wilcox in 2nd, and then you'd mentioned, and I know you said he was in the chat, Johnny Curry's up in 1st overall.
Superb stuff. Lots of boosters and chips used amongst the top sort of 5th. Well, actually, most of the way down, to be fair. Down the in the bottom half, there's not that many used, actually, is there? But
Clive Fisher in 17th is the highest placed person that hasn't used a booster either format.
Good stuff. Yeah, so as obviously we'll be approaching the international break now, so we won't be holding next week. What are we, a third? Well, in between a quarter and a third of the way through the season. How would you assess your season so far?
FPL, I didn't think I've made many mistakes. I think a lot of experienced managers having bad season. I will hold my hands up, I think. And it's not just a hindsight thing. I think my move at the weekend was a mistake and was forced through me having a rank of where I didn't want to be, and I couldn't get to Salah safely at the weekend. So I just made a move to try and be different for different sake, I think, which was unlike me. So I wouldn't say I would have been frustrated up until now, but I'm now frustrated. I'm now frustrated in FPL. Telegraph, I probably would have said I would be disappointed, and then until this weekend, and I now realise how grouped everybody together is in the leaderboard in TFF, and 5 points can shoot you up like 500 places. So, pretty happy with how that's going. Mentioned earlier, structure my team and the players that I've got in. I'm really happy with how it's set up. And yeah, really happy with how things are going in Dream Team. And it means I can enjoy the football midweek as well, knowing that it contributes to the points in that format. What about yourself?
Yeah, I don't think FPL kind of similar to you really. I don't think I've like normally in FPL, I hold my hands up when I said, "Oh, I've made some stupid moves. I've made some risky picks," but I really don't think I have. I think I've played it well, as as well as I could have. I don't think my rank necessarily reflects it. 2.4 million, but I say it every week. I look at my team going into this week, and I'm really happy. I've got a really good team, and I think as long as you can say that to yourself in the mirror and be honest, which I can. I haven't got Palmer, right, but I purposely didn't go with Palmer because he had United and Arsenal, so he may score next week, but I'll probably get him in game week 12. But other than that, I've got everyone I want, so I'm reasonably happy with FPL. I say, I'm not necessarily happy with my rank, but I'm happy with how I've played. So you just have to hope that, like a lot of managers took out Semenyo this week in FPL, and I think that's going to come back and bite in a couple of weeks' time because that boy is on fire, and their fixtures go really nice in a week or two as well. So I think he can. I've held on. I've still got him. I've still got Rodgers. Villa's fixtures turn really nicely in a couple of weeks as well. I've still got Trent. I've still got Haaland. Still got a good team. I've held on to Wood.
How are you going to get to Palmer?
Not 100% sure yet. Maybe Haaland. I'm potentially thinking of Haaland to Watkins, but in all honesty, I haven't given it a great deal of thought yet because it's still a couple of weeks away. So yeah, DreamTeam. I'm quite happy actually. Just got into the top 1K again. I don't think I've made too many mistakes potentially, but into top 1K, I can't really argue with that. Good team this midweek, good team for the weekend. So I'm hoping now I can climb and potentially get into top sort of 600 or 700 by the international break. Not quite good enough as not quite good as yours, though, is it, mate? But yeah. And TFF just so disappointing, but not as disappointing it was a couple of weeks ago. I was 45k a couple of weeks ago. Like I don't think I've ever been there in my life. And again, I started off with a poorish defence. I purposely strategically moved to a whole Arsenal back four, and they've decided not to keep a clean sheet for 5 weeks. And obviously, when you go to a whole Arsenal back four, you have your sacrifices. You don't have Salah, Palmer, whoever. And yeah, it's just absolutely killed me. So just hoping that I've started to turn the tide on that now. 21k. I mean, it's still shit, right? But I just looked and I'm 40 points behind you, which is not. I mean, over a season, that's nothing, right? That's just a few moves. So, yeah, very poor in TFF. But if there is one game I'm quite confident of coming back in, is TFF rather than the other two games. So I still expect, rightly or wrongly, we can clip this, go back into the season. But I'd be surprised if I'm outside of the top. I don't think I finished outside of the top 300 for the last 4 seasons. It's going to be harder this year, but I'd be surprised if I'm outside of the top 1,000 to 1,500, which is not good enough to win all the mini leagues I want to win, but it's still semi-respectable, I suppose. Watch this now, I'll finish about 6k and everyone will be laughing, but we'll see.
I'm thinking DreamTeam as well. As I say, like, I'm not playing on the value fact of that comment earlier on, but the fact that you have got a really good value in your team, it means you can get the players that you want. And I think it's when people will be forcing it when they don't have that is where you'll start gaining rank as well. As I say, I think when that transition from Europe to Premier League fixtures come in, I think there's movement to be made from people at that point.
And it's hard as well, right? There's a couple of things in all fantasy games. Everyone makes mistakes, and that's normally brought on by pressure. And I don't feel I've made many or any mistakes so far, so I'm quite happy with that. But people around me will make mistakes. I've already noticed. I'm in a couple of mini leagues, and a couple of people around me have started to make a couple of decisions I would question. I don't think, like I say, I don't think I played like massively well or anything, but I've not made a mistake. I'm on everyone's heels, which in DreamTeam anyway, which is nice. Even though they had a bit of a lead, I've stayed with them, and now they're starting to make mistakes. And everyone has a run of bad luck at some point in a season as well. So that that second point is more questionable, but I would like to think that I've had mine maybe now in TFF, and maybe now I move up and onwards. And others are gonna spunk their transfers a bit later on, try and chase a few things. But if I can just keep on the coattails of players, people know I'm there, and that's when potentially they might make an error or two as well. So
We'll see.
Well, we'll see. We'll see how it pans out. I think my aspirations for the ultimate leaderboard is not high, mate. I'd be very surprised now if I finished in the top 10. I'd like to think I can maybe hover around the top 10 potentially. But yeah, whereas last year I was hovering on the top 9 or 10 for most of the season. I'll be over the moon to finish there now, because there's the caliber of manager and that is just absolutely crazy. So what's your aspiration in the ultimate leaderboard? Where do you think you can finish? And don't be modest, Paul.
Well, I think I just now in Telegraph I'm 13th and I'm 5th in Dream Team. I think I'm on course to do well in both those formats, and any rank that I can gain in terms of overall position in FPL, I think I would take just now. So that is going to continuously weigh me down. There's no way that I can catch up everybody. It's like some of the conversation with someone the other day about, oh, well, you're only 60 points behind someone that's top of one of their mini leagues. And I was like, yeah, but I'm 15 places behind, and I've got to make up the ground on every single one of those people. It's not just me in a straight shootout for 60 points to the person that's top. So I think drag myself up in FPL to be some respectable position, and then Dream Team and TFF, I still think I can get top finishes in. So
yeah, agree.
I think a sensible target for me would be top 5. I think top 10, I'd probably still put down as having a good season.
Yeah, well, definitely. In that league, if you could finish in the top 10 back-to-back seasons, you're playing really well, and you've got to be bordering on winning one of the games outright almost to be there, or have incredibly great seasons in all in all the formats. So good stuff. Just run through last few couple of comments. Manchester, do you play fan team? I've been playing this year. I've been playing it the same as FPL, so I'm not doing too well. I'm not sure where I am actually, 8 or 9k or something. So
I played it through Bet365, which I think
same.
is exactly,
I do as well. Yeah,
exactly the same entry, right?
Yeah, it is, yeah.
I've been doing dreadful on that as well.
QNTV says not happy in FPL, 50k, no chips used. Okay, and Viney says top 100, only got about 7 transfers left. Not sure. I think I mixed up a couple of conversations there. Richie asks, is Solanke a keep or sell in TFF? Same question regards Foden. I think I'm taking a punt on Welbeck in TFF. Great fixtures and fit to return in 7 out of 10 games. I'd keep Solanke for another 2 games personally. I think there's a natural drop-off point. Yeah, exactly that.
The early kick-off in the game that you said, the first game after the national break, then reassess at that point.
That's it. And Foden, I'd just maybe look at, as you say, an early kick-off. It is. It's Spurs Man City, I think, isn't it?
I would come off Foden definitely
after that game. Same, yeah. I'd leave him in the next 2. I'd leave both in the next 2. They both got a 2-for-1 now, haven't they, over every team? So I'd leave him in and then let go after that, I think. So, but yeah, he's just not looking like the Foden of last year at all, is he? Well, neither Man City. So
unless Foden. Unless you wanted a Fulham or a Brentford player, Foden could go tonight. But I wouldn't take Solanke out with the view that they've got Ipswich at home next week.
JC just letting us know about the average transfers per rank in Telegraph. Top 10,000, 28 transfers. Top 1,000, 19. Top 100, 7.71. So yeah, that's normally the thing. Even when I'm low ranked, I can go, oh well, I've still got plenty of transfers. I'm only 4 above, and I'm double that rank on 10,000. So it's not good, but as I say,
it's good.
Plenty of time to go, and yeah, I do think in Telegraph it is a game where you're in control of your own destiny a lot of the time. Whereas I think with games of FPL, you're very reliant on luck a lot more because you can't control the fixtures and stuff. So anyway, we keep prattling on. 46 minutes. This is our longest one, I think, mate. Have a good weekend and best of luck for the final game week, and have a nice international break, Paul. You're coming down to me in a month.
Is it worth us doing a pod next week, because I'm going to Poland for the Scotland game the week after?
It probably is then. Let's do that then.
Yeah.
That works. And then Paul is visiting me in a few weeks' time. That's the prize for him coming ahead of me. So I've got to put up wine and dine Paul. So we're going over the beautiful Barry Island for the day, which will be good fun. So look forward to that, mate. But thanks everyone for joining us. Sounds like we will be back next week just to review the final game we just gone and looking ahead to the games, as Paul isn't here the week after. But thank you so much all for joining us as usual, and see you all soon.
Cheers.